Hello, my amazing friends. Today I have something truly special for you. Listen carefully, because this story will change the way you think, speak, and feel about English. He is the finest psychologist the world has ever produced. He understood the human heart like no one else. You must have heard about Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, and Othello. These are not just stories. They are mirrors of life, love, power, betrayal, ambition, everything that makes us human. He captured all of this in his words. His influence is so great that English itself would not be the same without him. Many words, phrases, and ideas we use today came from his brilliant mind. But how did he become William Shakespeare, the greatest writer in history? He was not born into a rich or powerful family. He did not go to a grand university. Yet he became the most famous name in literature. So if you are learning English today, if you struggle with words, if you wonder how to express yourself, this story is for you, because Shakespeare himself started as an ordinary boy, just like anyone else. This is a story of struggle, passion, and unstoppable creativity. Sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy. This will not only improve your English listening skills, but also fill you with inspiration. It was a cold April day in the year 1564, in a small English town called Stratford-upon-Avon. A baby boy was born. His parents, John and Mary Shakespeare, held him close, never knowing that their son would one day change the world. His name was William Shakespeare. Stratford-upon-Avon was not a big city. It was a quiet town with narrow streets, wooden houses, and a river flowing gently through it. People lived simple lives, working as farmers, traders, and craftsmen. William's father, John Shakespeare, was a glove maker. He made fine leather gloves and sold them in the town market. He was a hard-working man, respected in the community. His mother, Mary Arden, came from a wealthy farming family. She was kind, strong, and full of love for her children. William was the third of 8 children. The house was always noisy with laughter, chatter, and the sounds of daily life. But William was different. He was curious. He observed everything. He listened to how people spoke, how they laughed, how they cried. He didn't know it yet, but this curiosity would one day make him the greatest playwright of all time. In those days, there were no televisions, no phones, no internet. People entertained themselves with stories. Traveling actors would come to town and perform plays in the streets. Young William would watch in amazement, his eyes wide with excitement. He loved listening to old legends, folk tales, and heroic stories from history. Each story made his imagination stronger. At the age of 7, William started school. The school was a small, simple building with wooden benches and a strict teacher. But what he learned there would shape his destiny. He studied Latin, history, poetry, and literature. Latin was the language of scholars, and young William became quite good at it. He read the great stories of ancient Rome and Greece. He discovered writers like Ovid, Plutarch, and Virgil. Their words stayed with him, inspiring his future plays. But William was just a bookworm. He loved nature. He would walk through green fields, watch the river, and listen to the sounds of birds. He played with his friends, ran through the streets, and enjoyed life like any other boy. Yet there was something inside him, a deep hunger for words, stories, and meaning. Just when life seemed normal, trouble struck. William's father, once a respected businessman, started facing financial problems. The family had less money. There were even days when they struggled to buy food. William saw the stress in his father's eyes and the worry in his mother's voice. He learned that life is full of ups and downs, something he would later write about in his plays. Even as a child, William had a special way with words. He made up little poems and rhymes. He loved to act, to play roles, and to entertain his friends with stories. But no one in Stratford-upon-Avon knew that this young boy would one day write the most famous plays in the world. For now, he was just William, the boy with big dreams. William Shakespeare was growing up fast. By the time he turned 14, he had already read many books, listened to hundreds of stories, and watched traveling actors perform. But life was still difficult. His father's financial troubles continued. William saw how quickly life could change. He understood that nothing was permanent. Not money, not status, not even happiness. Instead of feeling hopeless, he became more thoughtful and creative. Then something happened that changed his life forever. At 18, William fell in love. Her name was Anne Hathaway. She was beautiful, intelligent, and independent. She was also 8 years older than him, which was unusual at that time. Anne became pregnant before they were married, which caused great social pressure. So in November 1582, William Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway. He was only 18. 6 months later, their daughter Susanna was born. 2 years after that, Anne gave birth to twins, Hamnet and Judith. By the age of 21, William was a husband and a father of 3. But there was one big problem. How would he support his family? He had no stable job, no land, no fortune. But he had words. He had stories. And he had a burning desire to create. The years from 1585 to 1592 are known as Shakespeare's lost years. No one knows exactly what he did during this time. Some believe he was a school teacher. Others think he joined a traveling theater company. Some even say he got into legal trouble and had to leave town. Whatever the truth, by 1592, William Shakespeare appeared in London. No longer a small-town boy, but a man ready to take on the world. London was full of energy and ambition. Shakespeare arrived with no money and no connections, but he had talent and determination. He started working as an actor and soon began writing plays. At first, he wrote simple, entertaining plays. Over time, his writing grew deeper and more powerful. He wrote stories that made people think and feel. In 1593, the plague closed all theaters. Shakespeare turned to poetry and wrote Venus and Adonis and the Rape of Lucrece. These works made him famous. Even Queen Elizabeth I admired his writing. By 1594, he joined the Lord Chamberlain's men. His plays explored love, ambition, betrayal, jealousy, and madness. By the late 1590s, he was one of the most famous playwrights in England. In 1599, Shakespeare and his company built the Globe Theatre. This became the home of his greatest works: Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, and Julius Caesar. Shakespeare became wealthy and respected. He owned property, including a grand house called New Place in Stratford. When Queen Elizabeth died, King James became ruler. He loved Shakespeare's work and gave his company a royal title, the King's Men. Between 1603 and 1611, Shakespeare wrote his deepest plays: King Lear, Macbeth, and The Tempest. His writing became darker and more philosophical. In 1613, Shakespeare retired and returned to Stratford. He spent his days in peace with his family, reading and reflecting. In 1616, after falling ill, William Shakespeare died at the age of 52. He was buried in Holy Trinity Church in Stratford. Though his body rested, his words lived on. His plays are still performed. His lines are still spoken. His stories still inspire the world. Shakespeare proved that words have power, the power to change lives. He was once just a small-town boy with a dream, and that dream changed the world.